I made this little video for the students who are interested in purchasing the USB adapter that I'll be using for our wireless penetration testing lectures. As you can see on the screen, I bought mine at Amazon for $20, which is a very good price for this little device. It's not very fancy, it's not very powerful, it only works on B&G networks, but it's perfect for what we need to do. So if you're interested, that's the cheapest price I've seen for that particular device, and it works perfectly with Kali Linux. The only problems I ever have are with Virtualbox or virtualization in general. So let's talk about that. Alright, so the first thing you need to do is make sure that the alpha device is working for your host. So you'll install it, and you should have wireless connectivity. As you can see, this is over the alpha device right here. So I have my wireless connectivity. That's working fine. After you're done with that, you're going to start up the VirtualBox Manager and go to your Kali box and add a USB filter to the Kali box. So let me show you how to do that. Here I am in the Kali machine. I'm going to right click, go to settings, click on USB. Now this one that you see right here is one that I've added. It was not the default. The default way of doing this would be to click on the plus sign and select your device from the list. I'll do that. So that puts it in here. So normally you would not see this top one, alpha. That's one I created, and I'll tell you why in a second. If we double click on this, we can see all the basic information that the system sees about the alpha card. Once again, it's working fine, so that's great. Now, I will tell you, this sometimes does not work, and it has nothing to do with the alpha card. It has to do with the way the USB devices are shared in the Windows machine, whatever operating system it seems to be, and VirtualBox. So you can start your Kali machine from here. First, you'll unplug the device, but this possibly may work. But what I would recommend you do, and what it's been more consistent for me, is to notice the product ID and the vendor ID. So the vendor ID is 0BDA and the product ID is 8187. Write that down and then remove this from there. What you'll do after that is create a blank one. So if you click on this top one up here, it says we're going to add a USB filter. So if I click on that, new filter, open it up, there's nothing in there. You can name this whatever you want and then put the vendor ID and the product ID in here and you're done. So that's exactly what I've done here. If I click on this, you can see I named it alpha. I put the 0BDA and then the product ID. I have found that doing it this way is actually better than selecting it from the list. Now, you may find it different on your system, and that's perfectly fine as long as it's working. But this has consistently worked for me. All right, so once you have this, you're not going to start the system, right? You're just going to click out of this, save that, and then what you need to do is go down and disconnect or eject the USB device from the host. So I'm going to go eject that, and then I'm physically going to unplug it from the USB hub. So I physically unplug it from the USB hub. You have to do this because if you don't, there's a very good chance that Kali will not recognize the USB device. Once you've done that, remove the card from the host. You're going to start Kali and log in, and then after you've done that, you'll reattach the USB network adapter to the USB port. It's important that you follow these steps. This has consistently worked for me, and my surfing around the internet seems to consistently work for many other people too. USB adapters unplug, Kali's down, USB filters are there. I'm going to start up Kali. You notice down at the very corner down here, there is a little USB icon, and that's where we'll start to see activity or no activity once we have Kali up. So once Kali's booted up, I'll start the video up again. Okay, so Kali has booted. I've logged in, and I want you to observe what's happening in the lower right-hand corner where you see the various virtual devices that are available. I'm going to plug in the USB adapter now, and what you will see is some activity start to take place. Okay, here you see the USB. It's red We want that to be blinking green so that we know that we have connectivity to it. Now we can, while we're waiting for that to attach, hopefully it will, we can come over here and type ifconfig, and we can see that the system sees the wireless LAN 0. Now you'll also notice that I'm starting to get a green connection taking place down here. Now I can right click this and select from here. That has not worked for me. So this particular wireless USB, following the steps that I've outlined, will probably work best. Okay, from here, what we can do is type airmon ng, and what we'll do is say start WLAN 0. And we should see this come up and say monitor is enabled on Mon 0. So this is just basic stuff. We'll go over more detail when we're in the full lecture. After that, what we'll do is we can type airodump ng, and tell it to start monitoring on Mon 0. When we get this working, what happens, let me go back and just show you. I'll do an ifconfig here. We actually end up, when we turn on with airmon ng, the WAN interface, it creates this monitor interface for us that we can use to actually capture and sniff packets. So once again, airodump ng, and what we'll say is on Mon 0, we want to start it. And this is what you want to see. This is out there finding all the beacons from the various wireless networks that are available within my area. And so if you're not seeing this, that means your USB adapter is not working and you need to go back through the steps again. Well, I hope this helps anybody who's actually going to purchase the adapter and play around with it. Now, your other alternative, if this does not work for you, start a laptop with the ISO live CD or the live CD and use the alpha card that way. It works with Kali. It has nothing to do with Kali. What it has to do with is the Virtualbox and the virtual interface. All right. Thanks, everyone. I'll see you next week.